left talking with the team at Purple Cow Agency. The secret cameraman and I have to go running some errands right now. Come down with me. Hey, cameraman, give me a ride? So one of the things that you find whenever you leave home, if you're driving, is that not everybody could go out every day. Depending on what your license plate is, you might be allowed out on certain days or not other certain days. Also, if you have a quarantine pass, depending on the restrictions on it, you might only be able to go out, for example, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or other days of the week. So you really have to know what you're allowed to do. Today, we got lucky. Mostly you need a company ID to be able to get past the checkpoint. So they started to ease up the restrictions. Now they're supposed to be strict again, but so far, we've been a bit lucky today. I'm not used to parking in the Philippines. So before I was walking everywhere, or I would just take a taxi and they would drop me off. So now I'm having to figure out where you park. It's not quite as obvious as it used to be when I lived in the US. Hello, sir. Hi there. Pila. Salamat. So even when you get different places, a lot of the entrances that were typically open are closed. So we're at Ayala Mall in Cebu Business Park. It's a huge mall here, and trying to get around is already a little bit challenging, but especially when you don't know what entry is going to be open, sometimes it takes 3 times as long just to find your way around. So once you get to the mall, or really any public building, they're going to expect for you to have a company ID, a mask on, and to make sure you look really ridiculous, one of these bad boys on as well. If you don't have this on, they're not going to let you in. But now they're going to do a temperature check to make sure that I don't have a temperature, and I'm going to have to disinfect as well. Good afternoon, sir. We're good. So I really appreciate it here, even though it gets a little bit challenging 9 months into things. I'm really glad that the Philippines has taken the coronavirus so seriously. I'm worried about my own country in the US, where last week there was 160,000 new cases just in one day, and it really doesn't show any signs of slowing down. In the Philippines, sometimes it feels like a little bit of an overreaction because there was about 200 cases and they're locking things down somewhat again. But part of that is just me, I think, natural human reaction to want to have more freedom and to, just really struggling with being inside so much. It causes so much challenges to business, to everyday life. When you're used to having a lot of freedom to do whatever you want, and then all of a sudden everything changes, it's a bit of a challenge. And for me, it's not just on a personal level, it's with business as well. Things are impacting our clients in the US, things are impacting our employees here, and it makes it harder to do what I need to do, both personally and with business as well. But at the end of the day, when you look at the Philippines and the cases and the COVID-19 deaths, even one is too many, but there's really been far less than there would have been if the country here hadn't taken things so seriously. Let's try to go inside the mall. So one of the things that's surprising to me about going to Philippines, if you look just behind us, there's TGIF Fridays. I don't even know if those exist in the US anymore, or behind me, there's Toys R Us, which I'm pretty sure went bankrupt in the US just a few years back. So it's good to see some old favorites still here in the Philippines. Mall culture is alive and well. When I was young in the US, malls were really popular, but then they kind of got phased out, I think because of Amazon and other changes like that. But in the Philippines, everybody still goes to the mall. I've never been to malls quite as big as they are here. This is one of my favorite. It's not too far from us, Ayala Mall in Cebu City. But you could tell during the pandemic, there's not that many people around. There's a few people here and there, but before, it was very crowded. So you could tell that the pandemic isn't impacting just service-based businesses like mine, but also retail businesses here as well. So when I first came to the Philippines, and I think it was April of last year, the currency was about 52 Philippines pesos to $1 which was great. But now, actually this is the lowest I've ever seen it in comparison to each other. The US dollar only buys you 47 Philippines pesos. That makes a huge difference if you're someone that is making money in the US and has payroll not only in the US, but the Philippines as well. So I'm hoping that the US starts to do better with the coronavirus and that the economy starts to pick up over there as well. So while we're here at Ayala Mall, we thought that we would take a time to ask some local Filipinos how the pandemic has impacted their life. Actually, the hard thing about trying to get interviews right now is that there's hardly anybody here. So what once had thousands and thousands of people walking past us, now there is a few every now and then. Can you please tell us how the pandemic has most impacted your life?
So since nagsugod ang pandemic is daghan jud na usab, labi na sa work. From now is bago lang may naka-start sa work and then medyo mingaw, so hinay ang sales. So, na-jud ka ng possibility na mag-close ang uban store tungod sa kanang mingaw and hinay ang sales.
Thank you, Princess. So now if you try to go into places like a pharmacy behind us, there's mostly a line because they make people socially distant, so there's not too many people in one business at a time. It's good for safety, but it means everything takes 5 times longer than it normally did before. So it's lunchtime and we're trying to figure out where to eat. I'm always the difficult one because I'm the vegetarian in the Philippines. I don't think there's any such thing as a vegetarian restaurant here. Well, maybe 1 or 2. You ever tried a bagel? Are you kidding me? We definitely have to have you try a bagel. How are you? We're doing a vlog and we're asking some people how the pandemic has impacted their life. Would you feel comfortable answering that question?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, great. What is your name?
I'm Albert.
Albert, my name's John. Nice to meet you. Yes, so if you could please tell us, how has your life been most impacted by the pandemic this year?
Ano sir, tinuray lisod yun ang panahon karon sa pandemic. Especially sa atong trabaho is di siya stable dito. So, kanang atong income, right gid siya before. Nanay siya atong lisod dito atong kay tanggat. So, di lang sa dako ang tawag ni apektado, so sabot ko halos kita tanan apektado kita.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. But we still need that bagel. So there's not as much available individually because they're trying to reduce the risk of contact for food, which is very smart. So at restaurants, it's all right to take your mask off and your shield off. Hopefully there's not any corona hiding out near us right now. Just a second, we just got a message from someone on one of our social media posts at Delish Deli. I understand Avenir where our restaurant is, but I have no idea of the rest of what they're saying. So that's one of the challenges with running a business here is that even though almost everybody speaks English, most people use Bisaya where we are to communicate with things. So I got to speed up my language lessons so I can understand what people are saying. Until now, I'm gonna have to ask everybody to help me out with some translations. So Saul, we had a local celebrity, Jane Burden, who came. She's an amazing, talented singer here in the Philippines. And somebody, I think, was sad that they missed seeing her while she came to visit us. Next time, guy. Okay, thank you. Here you go. Enjoy your first bagel. Say hi to me in the comments. Thank you so much. So when we were away on our one-day vacation with our good friends out in Samboan, we found out that Mayor Labella here in Cebu City put out an executive order to try to flatten the curve because the coronavirus cases had started to rise. So as I read through this, some of it was pretty clear, some of it I didn't really understand though, especially when it talked about private authorized persons outside of residence, mostly shortened to just APORs here. Didn't know if there was a difference between private APORs and just regular oral APORs. So for businesses like Purple Cow Agency and Delish Deli, we've been fortunate that we have fallen into this class. So with Purple Cow Agency as a business process outsourcing company, because this type of business I think is so important to the economy, they've allowed us to keep running during this time, even though because there's been such limited public transportation, we've had to have most of our employees working from home this year. With Delish Deli, because it's a food business, people gotta eat, so we're able to stay open as well. But just yesterday, once this was implemented, it was very difficult for employees to even find a bus or any public transportation to be able to get to work. So we've been going back and forth with this challenge of, even though we're allowed to keep business open, we still got to figure out how to take care of employees and to make sure that they're able to have internet, which isn't always as common here, and also transportation too. But anyhow, I'm going to have to do a little bit of investigation about, is there a difference between private appors and presumably non-private. And so what I'm going to do is get in touch with some of our friends that are in similar businesses, and I'm going to ask them if they've heard any more about this as well. So give me a moment, I'm going to type them a message. So I just got a response back from our friends. They talked with their attorney and already got an answer back about who is included in this executive order. So it looks like the only people impacted are individuals traveling to Cebu City from other provinces outside of Cebu. So this is good news for us. We're a little bit concerned that if our employees came from even a neighboring city 1 mile away, that they would have to go through a number of requirements to be able to come back to work. So today we thought it was going to be pretty strict outside, but we've been fortunate and have had a pretty easy day. Just interviewing some people about how the pandemic has impacted their life. Would you be comfortable, even if in Bisaya? So what is your name?
Camille.
Camille, my name is John. Could you please share with us how the pandemic has impacted your life this year?
So far, I've just been staying at home, and I actually took the recent physician licensure exam. So it was hard reviewing for it, but we got through it, and I think the worst part of it would be not seeing everyone, like my friends and everything, our other family members.
Sure.
I think we're the luckier ones. I'm so grateful, and I think I still feel fortunate that I'm not struggling as much as others. So I think that's just it, just being grateful.
That's good. Have you been able to continue working during this time?
No, I've just been studying, so yeah.
I understand. Well, congratulations on your studies, and thank you for sharing with us. Thank you. So you can see from different people's response, some people have been impacted quite severely with work. Businesses have been impacted, but others have been making the most of the time studying and being productive while the rest of the world has been shut down. I'm curious if you could share down below, how has the pandemic impacted your life? Time to go back to Delish Deli. I have a meeting there. I don't know if you've ever had halo halo before. It's a really popular dessert here and one of my favorite. If you ever have the opportunity, try it out. Down to Delish Deli. We're meeting with somebody that is putting on a food fair. So they want to see if Delish Deli would be interested in being a part of it. So it's been another interesting week, like it always is in 2020, from going away on a short vacation, not to know if we would even be able to come back to home and work, to finding out that actually things haven't changed all that much since before the new executive order came out. It was also interesting being a part of interviewing a few people at Ayala and seeing how their lives have been impacted by the executive order as well. What about you? What's your year been like? How has the pandemic impacted your life? I'd love to know. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed already and you find the content of this channel interesting, I would love for you to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification below. Anyhow, time for lunch. You have a great rest of your day.